You will never be able to sell until. You will never be able to sell until. You will never be able to sell until you truly understand that selling is not about pushing products, convincing people, or talking endlessly about what you offer. It's about emotion. People don't buy with logic, they buy with feelings. Every decision your audience makes comes from how something makes them feel, not how it makes them think. If you want to sell effectively, you must connect emotionally, feel what your audience feels, understand their struggles, and speak directly to their desires. Logic might justify the purchase, but emotion always initiates it. You will never be able to sell until you fully believe in what you're selling. The truth is, people can sense energy. They can feel whether you're confident or uncertain, passionate or hesitant. When you don't truly believe in your product, service, or message, it shows in your tone, your words, and even your body language. Belief is magnetic. When you are sold on yourself and your offer, others begin to believe in it too. Conviction cannot be taught. It's cultivated through genuine belief and purpose. So before you sell anything, make sure you would buy it yourself. You will never be able to sell until you stop making it about you and start making it about them. Selling isn't about showing off how great your brand is. It's about solving a problem for your audience. The most powerful sales conversations are never one-sided. They are built on listening, empathy, and understanding. You don't need the perfect pitch. You need the right intention. Shift from, how can I make them buy? To, how can I help them grow, feel better, or live better? When people feel seen, understood, and valued, trust is built, and trust is the real currency of sales. You will never be able to sell until you master the art of storytelling, because facts tell, but stories sell. You can list features, numbers, and statistics all day long, but what truly inspires people is the story, the transformation, the journey, the emotion behind the message. Tell the story of how your offer changed someone's life, how it solved a real problem, or how it was born from your own experience. Stories bypass resistance and speak directly to the human heart. When your audience can see themselves in your story, they don't just want what you sell. They need it. And finally, you will never be able to sell until your energy aligns with your message. You can have the best words, the perfect strategy, and the sharpest pitch, but if your energy says, I'm unsure, I'm nervous, or I'm desperate, people will feel it. Selling is energetic. It's about confidence, certainty, and passion. When you show up grounded, authentic, and passionate about what you offer, you attract buyers naturally. People don't buy your product. They buy your energy, your confidence, and your belief. Selling isn't a transaction, it's a transfer of emotion, conviction, and energy. So before you try to sell to others, sell it to yourself first, because once you're sold, the world will be too. The emotional core of selling, why people buy feelings, not products. You will never be able to sell until you understand that selling is not a transaction. It's an emotional exchange. Most people approach sales from the wrong angle. They memorize scripts, focus on features, and try to sound persuasive. But they forget that behind every buyer is a human being guided by emotion, not logic. The truth is, every purchase decision starts with a feeling, the desire to feel secure, valued, admired, relieved, or confident. People don't buy the product itself. They buy the emotion they believe the product will give them. Whether it's a luxury car, a self-help course, or even a simple cup of coffee, what truly sells is the emotional experience attached to it. A great salesperson doesn't sell the item. They sell the feeling, the transformation that happens after owning it. Think about this. When someone buys a fitness program, they aren't just buying workouts. They're buying confidence, self-worth, and the image of a stronger version of themselves. When someone invests in a coaching service, they aren't paying for information, they're paying for clarity, hope, and direction. When you understand this emotional layer, your approach to selling changes completely. Instead of asking, how can I make them buy? You start asking, how can I make them feel something powerful enough to take action? And that shift, from logic to emotion, is where real sales mastery begins. The most successful salespeople are not the most eloquent speakers, they are the best listeners. They listen not just to words but to emotions, to the tone, The hesitation, the fears behind what the customer says. They know that every objection is rooted in an emotion, fear of loss, uncertainty, or mistrust. Instead of trying to argue or convince, they empathize and respond to the emotion beneath the words. This is emotional intelligence in action. You can't sell to someone you don't understand. You can't connect with someone you don't feel. The greatest sales strategy is empathy, the ability to see through your customer's eyes and feel through their heart. Selling, at its core, is emotional storytelling. Logic builds understanding, but emotion builds belief. You could present 100 logical reasons why your offer makes sense, but until your audience feels that sense of excitement, relief, or trust, they won't act. That's why great salespeople tell stories. Stories of transformation, of struggle, of victory. Stories make people feel safe. They disarm skepticism. They allow the audience to imagine themselves in that same story, experiencing that same success. The emotional brain responds to stories because it recognizes itself in them. Every story is a mirror, and when you hold that mirror up correctly, your audience sees their dreams reflected back at them. Another key truth is that emotion creates memory. People may forget your exact words, your price, or your presentation, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. The tone of your voice, your body language, your calm confidence, and your authentic enthusiasm. All of it communicates on a subconscious level. This is why some people can close deals effortlessly. Their energy radiates belief. You don't need to push or manipulate, you just need to feel what you're saying. Emotion is contagious. When you're excited, they feel it. When you believe deeply, they begin to believe too. So, if you want to master the art of selling, stop focusing solely on techniques, strategies, or closing lines. Focus on emotion. Before every pitch, ask yourself, what emotion am I selling? Is it hope, security, freedom, pride, or peace of mind? Once you identify that emotional core, build everything around it. Your words, your story, your offer. People are emotional beings trying to justify emotional decisions with logic. So give them both, but always lead with feeling. Because until you understand and speak the language of emotion, you will never truly sell. Belief is the foundation. Selling starts with you. You will never be able to sell until you fully believe in what you're selling. Belief is the silent force that moves people. It's invisible, but it's powerful enough to shape decisions, ignite trust, and inspire action. Every sale begins not with a pitch, not with a product, but with conviction, your inner certainty that what you're offering has real value, real impact, and real transformation to give. When you speak with conviction, people don't just hear your words, they feel your truth. And that truth, that deep, unshakable belief, is what opens hearts and wallets alike. Most people think selling is about persuasion, strategy, or perfect timing. It's not. Selling begins long before you ever speak to a customer. It starts with your mindset. It starts with your why. If you don't believe in what you're offering, if you wouldn't buy it yourself, if you're unsure whether it truly helps people, that doubt seeps through every word, every gesture, every tone of your voice. Energy doesn't lie. People may not consciously know what's off, but they can feel the uncertainty. You cannot transfer belief you don't possess. And that's exactly what sales is. The transfer of belief. You are not selling a product, you are transferring your confidence, your enthusiasm, and your certainty to someone else. Belief gives power to your presence. It's the difference between a person who tries to convince and a person who simply radiates certainty. You've met those people. They don't push. They don't beg. They don't chase. They simply know what they offer is valuable, and that calm knowing attracts people naturally. Belief communicates through your tone, through your eyes, and even through your silence. You can say all the right words, but if your energy doesn't match your message, people won't believe you. That's why sales success is never about perfect wording. It's about alignment. When what you think, what you feel, and what you say are in harmony, your message becomes magnetic. But belief doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's built through experience, through understanding, through authenticity. You must take the time to truly understand your product, how it changes lives, what problems it solves, and why it matters. You must see its impact firsthand, hear the stories, feel the gratitude, and witness the transformation it brings. The more you connect emotionally to the purpose behind your offer, the stronger your belief becomes. You can't fake this. People can sense authenticity, and they can sense when it's missing. Selling something you don't believe in is like trying to light a fire with wet wood. It just won't burn bright enough to inspire anyone else. When you believe, selling becomes effortless. You don't have to pressure anyone because you know your offer has value. You don't chase validation because you're already certain of the worth of what you provide. You approach conversations not with fear, but with faith. Faith that what you have can genuinely help someone. That faith changes everything. It turns anxiety into excitement, rejection into redirection, and uncertainty into strength. Because you're no longer selling for approval. You're selling to serve. You're not trying to convince people. You're giving them an opportunity to say yes to something that can improve their life. That's the essence of service-driven selling. Belief also gives you resilience. In sales, rejection is inevitable. Not everyone will say yes, not everyone will understand your vision, and that's okay. When you lack belief, rejection feels personal. But when your belief is strong, you understand that rejection isn't about you. It's simply not the right fit, not the right time, or not the right person. Your confidence doesn't crumble because it's rooted in purpose, not approval. This is why true salespeople are unstoppable. Their confidence doesn't depend on results, it depends on belief. The more you believe in yourself, your product, and your mission, the less you fear the word no. Belief also transforms how others perceive you. Confidence is contagious. When you speak with certainty, people automatically assume you have something valuable. When you truly believe in your offer, you create a sense of safety for your audience. They feel like they can trust you. And trust is the real currency of sales. It's not your product that sells, it's you. People buy from people they trust, and trust begins with authenticity and conviction. Every word you speak, every expression you make, should silently communicate, I believe in this, I know it works, I'm living proof. When that energy is present, people lean in. They listen differently, they feel differently, and they act differently. So if you find yourself struggling to sell, stop looking outward for techniques or tricks, start looking inward. Ask yourself, do I truly believe in this? Do I stand behind this product? Would I buy it, use it, and recommend it to someone I love? If the answer isn't a strong yes, it's time to realign. Because belief cannot be borrowed, it must be built. And once it's built, it becomes your greatest sales weapon. At the end of the day, people don't just buy what you sell. They buy your belief in what you sell. They buy your conviction, your energy, and your certainty. You can't teach passion, and you can't fake authenticity. You either believe, or you don't. And if you do, that belief will speak louder than any pitch ever could. Because when you're sold, when your heart, your words, and your purpose are aligned, the world will follow. Remember, before you can sell to anyone else, you must first sell it to yourself. That's where every true sale begins, with unwavering belief. Stop talking about yourself. The secret of selling through service. You will never be able to sell until you stop making it about you. The truth is, selling isn't about how amazing you are, how great your product is, or how impressive your brand looks. It's about them. It's about the person sitting across from you, the one with needs, dreams, fears, and unspoken desires. The biggest mistake most people make in sales is turning the spotlight inward, talking endlessly about their product, their features, their company, and their story, while forgetting the only thing that matters, the customer's story. People don't care about your success until they can see how it connects to theirs. Selling through service means shifting the focus completely from yourself to the person you're trying to help. It means showing up not to impress, but to understand, not to perform, but to solve. And the moment you make that shift, everything about your sales conversations changes. When you sell through service, you listen more than you speak. You stop trying to force the sale, and instead begin trying to find the truth. You become curious, genuinely curious, about the person in front of you. You ask, what are they struggling with? What do they really want? What's holding them back? And you listen, not to reply, but to understand. Listening is not a sales tactic, it's an act of respect. It tells people, you matter, your story matters, your pain matters. And when people feel understood, they open up, they trust you. And trust, not persuasion, is the foundation of every sale. The best salespeople are not talkers, they're listeners. They know how to create emotional safety. They make people feel heard, not judged. They don't dominate the conversation, they guide it. They don't pitch, they connect. When you make the customer feel seen, you're already halfway to the sale. Because people don't buy from those who talk the most. They buy from those who understand them the deepest. You can't help someone if you don't understand them, and you can't understand them if you're too busy talking about yourself. Selling through service is about empathy, the ability to step into someone else's world and feel what they feel. Empathy allows you to connect emotionally, not just intellectually. It helps you see beyond the surface, beyond the words they say to the emotions they hide. Maybe they're not buying because they're afraid of failing again. Maybe they hesitate because they've been burned before. Maybe they want to buy but don't yet believe they deserve the transformation your product offers. When you can feel those emotions, you can speak directly to the heart, and the heart is where every buying decision is made. When you serve first, your energy shifts. People can sense whether you're there to sell or to help. When you're desperate to make a sale, that energy repels. When you're focused on helping someone solve a problem, that energy attracts. It's magnetic. You no longer need to chase clients, because your sincerity pulls them toward you. People don't buy manipulation. They buy authenticity. They don't respond to pressure. They respond to passion. And passion born from service is unstoppable. The more you give, the more you receive, not because of luck, but because service builds connection, and connection builds sales. Selling through service also means letting go of ego. You're not the hero in this story, your customer is. Your job is to be the guide who helps them win their own battle. Just like every great movie has a mentor who empowers the hero, your role is to help your customer see their own potential. When you position yourself as the guide, not the star, your words become empowering rather than imposing. You stop saying, "Look at me," and start saying, "I see you." And that's when the sale becomes not just easy, but meaningful. The irony is that when you stop trying to sell, you actually start selling more. When people feel your genuine intention to help, they lower their guard. They stop viewing you as a salesperson and start seeing you as a partner in their growth. That's when conversations turn into conversions. Not through pressure, but through purpose. Selling through service transforms your entire approach from transactional to transformational. You're no longer exchanging products for money. You're exchanging solutions for trust, results, and emotional value. To master this, you must learn to ask better questions. Ask open-ended questions that uncover needs, emotions, and motivations. Ask, what are you hoping to achieve? What's been holding you back? What would success look like for you? These questions don't just give you information, they build connection. The more your customer talks, the more they emotionally invest. Every time they speak their desires out loud, they take mental ownership of the solution, your solution. When they see that you're not selling, but serving, the decision to buy feels natural, not forced. Service-based selling also demands integrity. You can't serve someone if you're offering something that doesn't fit their needs. True service sometimes means saying, "This isn't right for you." And though that may feel counterintuitive, it builds massive credibility. People remember honesty. They remember authenticity. And even if they don't buy from you today, they'll come back, or they'll send others who trust your integrity. That's the power of long-term service thinking. So remember this, selling through service is not about how much you can say, it's about how deeply you can care. The most powerful sales conversations are heart to heart, not head to head. When you shift from me to you, everything changes. You stop selling and start serving. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop performing and start connecting. Because at the core of every sale is one timeless truth. People don't buy from those who talk about themselves. They buy from those who make them feel seen, heard, and valued. When you master that, you'll never need to sell again. People will want to buy from you. The power of storytelling in sales. Facts tell, but stories sell. You will never be able to sell until you master the art of storytelling. Because facts may inform the mind, but only stories move the heart. In sales, people don't buy products, they buy experiences, emotions, and identities. They buy into stories that make them feel something real. Yet most people make the mistake of trying to sell with facts, figures, and logic, when in truth, the human brain is wired for narrative. From the beginning of time, we have communicated, learned, and made decisions through stories. Stories make people feel safe, understood, and inspired. And that is exactly what you need to move someone from interest to action. Not just information, but emotional connection. Think about it. A story has the power to make someone laugh, cry, dream, or decide, all in a few minutes. No statistic or feature list can do that. When you tell a story, you bypass resistance. You go straight past logic into emotion, and emotion is where every buying decision lives. That's why storytelling is the ultimate sales tool. It turns your message from something explained into something experienced. People may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how your story made them feel. When you use storytelling in sales, you create moments of resonance, those quiet seconds when the listener nods, smiles, or says, "That's me." In that moment, you're no longer just a salesperson. You've become a mirror reflecting their own desires and possibilities. Every great story in sales follows one simple formula: struggle, breakthrough, and transformation. You start with the pain, the relatable challenge or frustration your audience faces. This draws them in, because pain is universal. Then you move to the process, the steps, discovery, or shift that led to change. This creates belief. Finally, you share the payoff, the transformation that followed, the success achieved, the freedom gained. This creates desire. People don't want to buy a product. They want to buy that transformation. They want to feel that shift for themselves. Your story becomes their roadmap. But the magic of storytelling isn't just in the words. It's in the emotion behind them. When you tell a story with genuine passion, your energy transmits belief. You relive the emotion, and your listener feels it too. That's what creates connection, not perfection, but authenticity. You don't need to be a professional speaker to tell a powerful story. You just need to be real. People don't want a polished performance. They want to feel truth. And truth is messy, emotional, and human. When you speak from that place, your audience leans in, because they recognize themselves in you. Great salespeople don't just tell their own stories. They tell the stories of others. They share client transformations, real-world results, and human experiences that validate the impact of their product. Testimonials are not just proof. They're emotional evidence. They say, if it worked for someone like me, it can work for you. This kind of storytelling creates trust faster than any statistic ever could. People buy when they see possibility, and stories make possibility real. Storytelling also simplifies complexity. Sometimes, your product or service might be technical, abstract, or difficult to explain. Facts can overwhelm people. But a story translates logic into emotion, complexity into clarity. For example, instead of explaining all the technical details of a fitness app, you can say, John was a busy father who couldn't find time to work out. He felt tired, frustrated, and out of shape. But after using this app for 30 days, he lost 10 pounds and found his energy again. Now he wakes up early, confident and motivated. That story is relatable. It gives people a picture they can see themselves in. That's what makes them believe. There's also a deeper truth. Storytelling is not manipulation. It's service. It's a way to help people understand, to inspire them to take action, and to guide them towards something better. It's not about exaggeration or performance. It's about connection. You're not trying to trick someone into buying. You're helping them visualize how your offer can change their life. That's integrity-driven selling. When you tell stories with honesty and intention, people don't just hear you, they trust you. And here's the beautiful part: your story doesn't have to be perfect or dramatic to be powerful. It just has to be real. Maybe you once struggled with the same challenge your product now solves. Maybe you saw someone else's life change through what you offer. Maybe you simply believe deeply in what your service can do. That belief is a story. Your vulnerability, your passion, your purpose. Those are your most persuasive tools. When you share them authentically, your words carry energy, and that energy creates connection. Storytelling is also what makes selling feel good. It removes the pressure to perform or push. It allows you to express, to connect, to serve. You stop being a salesperson and become a storyteller, a bridge between what is and what's possible. You help people imagine a better version of their lives, and once they see that version clearly enough, they want to move toward it. That's the secret. Stories don't sell products, they sell possibilities. So, if you want to become a master at selling, stop memorizing scripts and start mastering stories. Learn how to tell your story, your customers' stories, and your product's story with emotion and truth. Every great brand, from Apple to Nike, has done exactly that. They don't just sell products, they sell purpose, identity, and belonging through story. Remember this: facts tell, but stories sell. Because in the end, people don't buy information, they buy transformation. And your story is the bridge that takes them there, aligning your energy with your message. The invisible force behind every sale. You will never be able to sell until your energy aligns with your message. Because selling is not just about what you say, it's about how you make people feel. Your words carry frequency, your tone carries vibration, and your presence transmits belief. Every interaction you have with a potential buyer is an energetic exchange, not just a verbal one. People may not consciously understand energy, but they feel it. They can sense whether you're confident or unsure, passionate or hesitant, genuine or performative. And no matter how perfect your pitch is, if your energy doesn't match your message, the sale will never land. Energy speaks before words do. Every successful salesperson, speaker, or leader has one thing in common. They radiate conviction. Their energy says, "I know this works. I know this helps. I know this matters." That kind of presence cannot be faked. It comes from deep inner alignment. When your intention, your belief, and your message are all on the same frequency, you can memorize every closing technique, design the most persuasive script, or offer the best deal. But if your energy says, "I'm unsure," "I'm nervous," or "I'm desperate," people will pick up on it instantly. Humans are emotional creatures. We respond to energy before we even process logic. That's why two people can deliver the same words, but one sells effortlessly while the other struggles. The difference is not skill, it's energy alignment. When your energy and message align, your words feel effortless. You don't have to convince anyone. Your energy does the convincing. Your enthusiasm becomes contagious. Your confidence becomes magnetic, and your authenticity becomes undeniable. You begin to attract instead of chase. People start reaching out to you, asking questions, and wanting to be part of what you represent. That's the power of energetic congruence. You're not just selling a product anymore, you're embodying a state of belief so strong that others want to feel it too. They're not buying the product, they're buying the energy behind it. But to align your energy with your message, you have to first align your inner world. That means checking your thoughts, emotions, and intentions before every interaction. Are you focused on serving or on selling? Are you coming from fear or from faith? Are you trying to prove something, or are you trying to provide something? Your energy follows your intention. When your focus is on contribution, your energy feels light, generous, and magnetic. When your focus is on desperation or control, your energy feels heavy, needy, and repelling. People may not be able to define what's off, but they'll subconsciously sense the disconnect. You can't hide energy. It speaks louder than your voice. Your energy alignment also comes from authenticity. You can't sell something you don't believe in and expect your energy to resonate. True alignment happens when your product, your purpose, and your personal values all move in the same direction. When you genuinely believe your offer can change lives, that belief radiates naturally. You don't have to try to sound confident. You become confidence. When you've personally experienced the transformation your product provides, your energy carries truth. And truth is powerful. It pierces through resistance. People may forget your words, but they'll always remember your authenticity. Energy alignment also means mastering your emotional state. Sales requires emotional control. You can't let a no destroy your mood or a challenge shake your confidence. When your emotional energy fluctuates wildly, your message loses consistency. you become unpredictable, and unpredictability breaks trust. True professionals manage their energy the way athletes manage their body, with care, discipline, and awareness. Before every call, meeting, or presentation, take a moment to ground yourself. Breathe. Center your focus. Remind yourself of your purpose. Step into the energy of certainty, because when you're centered, your presence becomes calm yet powerful, and people are naturally drawn to that. One of the most magnetic energies you can project is passion. Passion is fire. It ignites belief in others. But passion alone isn't enough. It must be balanced with calm confidence. Overexcitement without grounding can feel chaotic or forced. True passion is not loud, it's powerful and steady. It's that quiet confidence that says, I know this will help you, and I can't wait for you to experience it. That kind of energy attracts people effortlessly. They don't feel pressured, they feel inspired. Energy alignment also requires awareness of your physical and emotional presence. Your tone, body language, and eye contact speak volumes. When your words say, I care, but your posture says, I'm unsure, people believe your body, not your mouth. Stand tall, speak slowly, breathe deeply, and maintain warm, open eye contact. These subtle shifts send powerful energetic signals of confidence, certainty, and safety. 3 things every buyer subconsciously looks for before they say yes. At a deeper level, aligning your energy with your message is about integrity. It's about being the same person offstage as you are on stage, the same person in private as you are in public. Integrity is energetic consistency. When who you are matches what you say, people trust you. And trust, not tactics, is the foundation of every sale. The energy of truth cannot be faked. It's felt instantly. That's why authentic people can sell effortlessly without sounding salesy. Their energy is their marketing. So, if you want to elevate your results, don't just refine your message. Refine your energy. Before you speak, before you pitch, before you post, ask yourself, am I aligned? Do I feel calm, confident, and connected to my purpose? Because when your energy is aligned, your words flow, your audience listens, and your message lands with impact. The energy you bring into every conversation determines whether people lean in or pull away. In the end, sales is not a battle of persuasion, it's a harmony of energy. When your belief, intention, and emotion are in sync, you become unstoppable. Your words gain power, your presence gains gravity, and your influence multiplies. Remember this: people may hear your words, but they feel your energy. And energy never lies. Align it with your message, and you won't need to chase success. Success will start chasing you.